wanted praise and adoration. The Bible says his heart was lifted up because of his beauty. And the Bible also goes on to say that he said in his heart, I will be like the Most High. He said, I will be just like God. Like he was literally jealous of Jesus. You know, why? You know, it's like, how does that happen? Sin came into the universe, but it's a mystery how this came, because God created Lucifer perfect. And Lucifer is a beautiful being. You know, there's no flaw in Lucifer. Like, what went wrong? You know, what went wrong with this being? If there could be an explanation for why sin exists, then there would be a justification for why it exists, right? If we could explain how in the world could free moral beings make this decision, then it would justify, well, I guess then sin has a right, we have a right to do this, because we can explain why it is. And the Bible calls this the mystery, right? There are two great mysteries the Bible describes, and Paul mentions this. Paul mentions the mystery of iniquity, and he mentions the mystery of godliness, right? The mystery of iniquity being that a created being would want to be on the level of God, right? Would want to be worshipped as God. That's a mystery. Like, how? That doesn't make any sense. How does that happen? Then the other mystery is the mystery of godliness. The mystery that says that God himself would stoop down so low to become as one of his created beings in order to save his created beings. Like, that boggles the mind. It is what we see contrasted here is selfishness, the selfishness that we see in the heart of Lucifer, and the selflessness of Jesus, the selflessness of the kingdom of heaven. So Jesus is telling them that he saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. But he's not just talking about Satan being cast out from heaven in the beginning, but he's also speaking about the kingdom of Satan, the kingdom and the power of Satan being broken as a result of what his gospel would do for the world.
There appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had the place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman.
So the Bible says there that God is comparing, when he says I have likened, he's comparing Zion, which is his people or Jerusalem, to a beautiful woman.
Who would you think the dragon would be?
Satan.
Absolutely. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember when Jesus was born, what happened? Satan, through the king, was ready to devour this child as soon as he was born, right? And the Bible also says he fled into Egypt, right? What Satan tried to do to Christ is the same thing he tried to do to Christ's church.
And of course, we know Satan used the power of Rome through Herod. You know, Herod was put in authority by Rome to do this. And then Christ was crucified, right, under Roman authority, even though it was the Jews that were pushing it.
In the decades leading up to the birth of Christ, the Roman Empire had conquered the whole Mediterranean world, including Judea. 20 years before Jesus was born, you have King Herod, a client king for Rome. You know, we have documents about him outside the Bible that tell us that he was very cruel, he was ruthless, and you wouldn't want to get on his bad side.
When we look at the statue of Nebuchadnezzar, the statue that Nebuchadnezzar dreamed, right? Each element represents kingdoms that rule the world. The Bible tells us that the head of gold represents Babylon. The Bible says that explicitly. The second kingdom represents Media-Persia. The Bible says explicitly that the third kingdom represents Greece. The iron legs represent the fourth kingdom that comes after Greece, according to history, kingdom of Rome. The iron is the strongest metal in the statue, the most oppressive metal in the statue. And what God is letting us know is that this kingdom would be the most oppressive to his people. So this iron kingdom of Rome, right, has ruled with an oppressive arm throughout history, but in the feet, which represents the end of time, it's still there. This iron is still there.